Well, let's talk about baseball. A lot of kids are getting ready for baseball now. Some of the games have actually started and so forth. When you were working with professional baseball players, all positions?
Yes, all positions. I had a great group. I did a lot of work with Andre Ethier now, who is with the Dodgers.
All right, let's look at him.
Okay.
What position?
He's a right fielder.
He's right fielder? Okay.
Yes.
I thought at some point he might have played left field, but he's a right fielder, and he's a kind of a bulky guy, right?
He is, Jim, and when I worked with him, I had one of the best groups when I was at Athletes Performance. I think this was back in I want to say like maybe 2004, 2005. I had a group, and these were all young. These guys weren't even he wasn't even in the majors yet. He was in the Oakland A's farm system. I had him. I had Dustin Pedroia in my group. I had Connor Jackson, who was with the Diamondbacks and the A's for a while. So these guys were still in AAA, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences for me because they weren't even in the major leagues yet. And with baseball, it's so different than football, I think, because and you know yourself, baseball, you're fighting to stay alive. You have to go through single A, double A, triple A, up to the majors. Football, if you're a college football star, you're going to sign a big contract and play right away in the NFL. So there's a different mentality there. So the things I learned from those guys, not only from a training experience, but just from a work ethic experience.
Now, let's just break it down for Ethier. What were you working on with him?
Well, I think with him, that, again, we're talking that was a while back. I think when he was up and coming, he was a great hitter. I always remember him as just having really good bat speed. And I think the biggest thing I worked on with him was just to get him a little bit stronger. And I think with those guys, a lot of times, those baseball players, they're very good athletes. And if you teach them how to kind of enforce getting power from the ground up, because a lot of times we think with baseball we're swinging and it's all in our arms and upper trunk and torso, and that's the farthest thing from the truth. All that power comes from acceleration and deceleration from the ground. So, again, with a lot of those guys, I did a lot of rotational medicine ball work.
What do you mean rotational medicine ball? What is that?
Well, basically using medicine balls and having them explosively throw them against the wall, both like parallel to the wall, which would be facing the wall, and then perpendicular to the wall, sideways to the wall, and teaching them how to, like if I'm facing a wall, accelerating with my right hip and pushing as I would if I'm swinging, and then decelerating with my left leg. So again, getting them into that mindset or concept of when they swing to accelerate and push through their hips and their glutes, and then decelerate with the other leg. So again, it's basically teaching them how to derive all that power from their hips, their glutes, their power source, so that when they swing, it's almost effortless with their arms. Does that kind of make sense?
It does make. I've followed your theory, and after we've talked, I've talked to watched, read on the internet about performance-based and core training and using your core muscles. It's not something when I came up and was playing college baseball, no one ever talked about accelerating your right hip through the swing, or using your trunk to get your power, or even when you were throwing the ball, the rotation of your core. That never came into it. Now I think the theory is that, and quite frankly, is why a lot of these players are a lot better at an earlier age, is they're able to get that knowledge at an early age. So I do have some understanding of what you're talking about, but I got to believe that a lot of the kids come through and don't have any understanding of that.
You know what, Jim, I agree, and I think the one thing, and again, it's been really rewarding for me in this last year, these kids are like sponges, and they want to learn. And I think I've had nothing but success with the kids because they get the concepts, and it's just like anything else. I really think of myself more or less as a teacher. It's just like teaching math. You don't learn your multiplication tables in one day, and you don't learn how to move correctly and how to use your body efficiently in an athletics setting in a day, and it's through repetition. And again, I've seen over time kids that come in there, and again, it's due to their work ethic. I think it's due to the fact that they want to learn and they want to get better. So again, I try to break the body down and see how does the body function, and how does it function in an athletic setting. And I think using the body efficiently makes things easier when you're on the field.
Ken Kroner is Munster Sports Performance. Of course, he worked athletics performance? Is that what it was?
Athletes Performance.
Athletes Performance for many years, which is working with the top athletes in the nation. and he's here now, and he has a place. We're not necessarily in here clamoring for new clients because he's almost overbooked at this point, but he's always open to new people. But Ken's on Ridge Road, 243 Ridge Road, and he's in here to answer your questions. If you guys have any questions about working out, about what your kids should be doing, any of that stuff, do it now at 219-845-1100. Let's go to Peter on line 1. Hey, Peter, what's up?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I had a question for Ken. I have a daughter. She's a Lake Central dancer for the Centralettes, and could he work with dancers? 'Cause she needs. I believe she's lacking in her core. She's had some back problems, and we've had the MRIs and everything. And her structure is fine, so I think it's more muscle than anything. And would he consider working with dancers?
Okay, Peter, well, first of all, last summer I was actually fortunate enough to work with the Munster dance team. Coach Cindy Bannis got in touch with me, and I spent a good part of the summer working with the varsity and JV dance team at Munster. So, again, it was a great opportunity for me there. And what I learned, I did a little research, and one thing I learned about dancers, Peter, is dancers have a large amount of flexibility. They're very flexible, but they lack stability. And stability basically is when you land, being able to just kind of hold your body in a solid position. So to answer your question, yes, I've worked with dancers in the past, and I think as far as your daughter goes with her back, my big thing is if I find someone that has back problems and they're an athlete, a lot of times that back problem is not necessarily caused by weakness in the back. It's caused by lack of glute and hip mobility and glute strength, and glute being your backside. And
right.
So again, what I would do in that situation, when the kids come in, I take them through an evaluation called a functional movement screen, and the screen allows me to kind of see if they have any compensation patterns. And I try to look at the body as a unit, and again, if she's got pain in her back, something's causing that pain, some dysfunction somewhere. It could be in her hip, it could be in her glutes, it could be lacking stability in her knees, mobility in her ankles. There's a multitude of things. So again, when I train someone, I try to find the root and cause of the problem and then use corrective exercises to help alleviate the discomfort.